Trump's Special Envoy Grenell claims nuclear weapons in Ukraine after USSR collapse belong to Russia. Poland preparing for possible Russian attack. How long its ammo supplies would last, and how Russia plans to resolve Ukrainian issue by 2026. The latest news next. US President Donald Trump's presidential envoy for special missions, Richard Grenell, has stated that the nuclear weapons that remained on Ukrainian territory after the collapse of the USSR belong to Russia, and claimed this is to be an uncomfortable fact, reported by Grenell on X.
Let's be clear about the Budapest Memorandum. The nukes were Russia's and were leftovers. Ukraine gave the nukes back to Russia. They weren't Ukraine's. This is an uncomfortable fact.
Stephen Pfeiffer, former US ambassador to Ukraine and nuclear weapons expert, responded by stating that Grenell is flat wrong.
I helped negotiate Budapest Memorandum. Grenell is flat wrong. Nuclear warheads in Ukraine were ex-Soviet, not Russian. Warheads in storage were in sole Ukrainian custody. ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, and bombers were eliminated in Ukraine, except small numbers sent to Russia for debt relief.
Pfeiffer stressed that Ukraine had decided to send the nuclear warheads to Russia for dismantling, largely because Moscow had committed to respecting Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity and not using force against Ukraine. He advised Grenell to read the full story. Earlier, former US President Bill Clinton expressed regret over his role in Ukraine's nuclear disarmament in the 1990s, suggesting that otherwise Russia might not have launched its full-scale invasion. For reference, in January 1994, Clinton signed a trilateral agreement with the then presidents of Russia and Ukraine, Boris Yeltsin and Leonid Kravchuk, on eliminating the arsenal of strategic nuclear weapons that remained on Ukrainian territory after the collapse of the USSR. In December of the same year, the United States also joined the Budapest Memorandum, which stipulated Russia's obligation to respect the territorial integrity of Ukraine. CIA Director John Ratcliffe is convinced that Ukrainian troops will fight with their bare hands if they do not have conditions acceptable for a lasting peace, reported by Ratcliffe during a hearing in the US Senate.
With regard to the Ukrainian resistance, the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian military have been underestimated for a period of several years now. And ultimately, from my reflections in observing, from an intelligence standpoint, I'm convinced that they will fight with their bare hands if they have to, if they don't have terms that are acceptable to an enduring peace.
Ratcliffe stated that US President Donald Trump seeks to end the war on terms that will lead to lasting peace. The CIA has taken measures to support Trump's goal. He said that Trump understands the danger posed by a Russian victory and emphasized that neither side would be able to achieve their maximalist goals in the event of successful talks. Meanwhile, Ratcliffe noted that the Russian army has an advantage on the battlefield and is slowly advancing forward. US President Donald Trump has said that Russia and Russian dictator Vladimir Putin may be dragging their feet on a peace deal with Ukraine, reported by Trump in an interview with Newsmax on Tuesday, the 25th of March.
I don't know. I mean, I'll let you know at a certain point. But I think that Russia wants to see an end to it, but it could be they're dragging their feet.
Trump added that he himself had done the same for many years in business.
I've done it over the years, you know. I don't want to sign a contract. I want to sort of stay in the game. But maybe I don't want to do it, quite. I'm not sure. But no, I think Russia would like to see it end. And I think Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy would like to see it end at this point.
Trump noted that both sides are losing on average of 2,500 soldiers killed and wounded per week.
They're not Americans, but it doesn't matter to me from that standpoint. I see the pictures of the battlefields. I'd rather not even see them. We have arms and legs and heads all over the field. The weaponry is ridiculous. It's a big drone deal now, and I just want to see it stop.
The United Kingdom has urged Moscow to agree to an unconditional ceasefire with Ukraine without delay amid talks in Riyadh between Ukraine, Russia, and the United States on a truce in the Black Sea and the abandonment of attacks on energy facilities, reported by UK Foreign Office in a statement as reported by European Pravda. The UK Foreign Office noted it was in close contact with US and Ukraine following the conclusion of talks in Riyadh. President Zelenskyy has already shown Ukraine is the party of peace by proposing a full, immediate and unconditional ceasefire. We hope that President Putin will agree to this without further delay, the UK Foreign Office said. London also thanks the US for its efforts and added that it is continuing to work closely with international partners towards a lasting and durable peace. Poland will be able to defend itself against an enemy attack for 1 to 2 weeks. The head of Poland National Security Bureau, Dariusz Lukowski, says that during this time, assistance from NATO allies is expected to arrive. He noted that it all depends on the situation that may arise in a confrontation with the enemy. Quote, I think, depending on how the battle is conducted, this defense could last for 1 or 2 weeks with the current levels of supplies, he said. The head of the National Security Bureau explained that Poland's army still relies on a mix of old and new equipment and that the shortage of ammunition mostly concerns outdated military hardware.
All the combat systems and platforms that we have introduced into the armed forces in recent years are also supplied with combat resources in parallel. In this case, the situation looks much better.
When asked if it is true that Poland has ammunition reserves only for 5 days of war, he replied, it depends on the type of combat systems and equipment we are talking about. The head of the Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Radosław Sikorski, stated that Russia is currently unable to defeat Ukraine without external help. However, in the case of capturing Ukraine and its resources, Russia will gain a significant advantage in the balance of power. Sikorski warned about the possible wider aggression from Russia by the end of the decade. According to him, if Russia absorbs Ukraine's industry, human resources and military, it will be an event that will significantly shift the balance of power in the region. Russia plans to resolve the Ukrainian issue by 2026, otherwise it will never be able to catch up with the United States and China, Vadim Skibitsky, representative of Ukrainian's defense intelligence, reports. According to Skibitsky, Russia has forecasted 15 potential military conflict scenarios up to 2045, with 6 of them involving Northern Europe.
Northern Europe understands, the Baltic countries understand, Poland understands. For Poland, there are only 4 scenarios of possible military conflict. Poland currently understands that this is an immediate threat.
In particular, Moscow has developed a geopolitical forecast for 2026 to 2035 with an assessment of its consequences extending to 2045. The document states that the Ukrainian issue must be resolved by 2026, because if the war continues for another 5 to 10 years, Russia will never be able to catch up and reach the level of the US and China, added the representative of Ukrainian's defense intelligence. In conclusion, Skibitsky emphasized that Ukraine plays an important role in new approach to organizing the European security system. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe.